So this is the function, logarithmic function y is equal to log x, right? So can you tell me the domain and the range? The domain and the range we have already discussed. The domain here will be all the values which are occurring on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, this part, I'll use the blue pen, this part will be the domain, which is r positive, and the range will be this part. So the range here will be all real numbers. So the domain and the range can also be found in the case of logarithmic function. So guys, now I'll give you some questions based on both these functions, exponential and logarithmic functions, for revision. Just try to do these questions by yourself. So problems are, the first one is y is equal to log x 5 log x to the base 2. The second one is y is equal to log of minus x. Third one is, I'm going to mix this logarithm with the modulus function. Just see carefully, y is equal to log mod x. Fourth one is y is equal to e to the power x. Fifth one is y is equal to, okay, let's take one more for exponential function, 5 to the power minus x. Sixth one is y is equal to log 10 to the base x. So just try these all questions on logarithm and exponential functions. So you can pause the video and solve, and now I'll start solving and then you can match the answers. So the first one is y is equal to 5 times log x to the base 2. Now 5 times x to the base 2. Now the domain will be all positive real numbers and the range will be all real numbers. Since this 5 will make no effect, okay, this will not make the range all negative numbers. This will not make negative numbers to get included in this range. So the range will still be R only. Okay. So the thing is that multiplying the range, which is all real numbers, by a constant, may it be 5 or 1000, that will make no difference. Like in this case, this is making no difference in the case of range. But when there are some exceptions, like r minus 1 or r minus 5, so in those cases you have to see about the range or the domain, wherever the exception is coming. So now let's see this one. In this case we know that this number in between the log should be positive. Therefore if minus x should be greater than 0, x should be less than 0. So this is a basic condition that the domain of this number, the domain of this function, this is equal to r minus, right? And the range will be all real numbers. The range will not change. So for the second function we'll get a slight change. Because of this minus x, the positive numbers are not allowed. Why aren't the positive numbers allowed? Because they will make the number in between the log as negative. We don't want a negative number inside the log. Therefore this will be a not defined function, right? So therefore the value of log minus x is only defined for negative numbers. Now let's see the third part. Now we know that the modulus of x is always positive. Therefore we can say that the domain here is all real numbers. Is it correct, guys? Is the domain all real numbers? Now see, the domain is not all real numbers, since you cannot use the value of x is equal to 0. So the domain will be r minus 0. Okay. And the range will be all real numbers. The range will be all real numbers. Now see this part, e to the power x. In this case we know that domain is all real numbers, but the range in this case, is just r positive. all the positive real numbers. Similarly goes for this fifth one. Now exponential functions are very easy. Now in the case of 5 to the power minus x also, domain will be all real numbers and the range will still be r positive. Since no negative number can come out from a power of a positive number, so it is a power of 5 to the power minus x, therefore no negative number can come. Now see the last part. Let's see the last part. Y is equal to log 10 to the base x. Now see in this part, x is coming or variable is coming in the base. If the variable is in the base, in that case we have to see what are the restrictions on the base. Now we know that the restrictions on the base are that it can be all positive real numbers except 1. So the domain here will be equal to all positive real numbers except 1. Or if you want to write into the form of intervals, this will be minus infinity, r positive, so there will be 0 to 1 union 1 to infinity. So you can see this function like this also, that y is equal to 1 upon log x to the base 10 by the base changing formula. So therefore this value can never be equal to 0. So that's the reason why the value of x can never be equal to 1. So the range, on the contrary, the range will be always equal to real numbers only, because all positive and negative values can come in the range. But guys, can we get a value of 0? Can we get this value 0 ever? No. So the range will be r minus 0. So just be aware of these small things. They can write in the questions these three options, that r minus 0, r minus 0, 1, or just r positive. So you have to see the question very carefully and the options very carefully and check down the option which is correct. So this is all about exponential and logarithmic function and about the graphs of the exponential and logarithmic functions. Now the applications of these functions will be used in the differential calculus as well as integral calculus.